Hi everyone, this is Gordon again. Well, first of all, I need to thank all of you guys who keep watching my videos because I didn't expect you guys would love this kind of content as well, because I just kind of randomly talk about stuff regarding law firms. I'm really trying my best to keep doing what is helpful for you guys. The training contract and vacation scheme applications deadlines are coming, so you guys gonna submit applications. You need to draft your application forms. In order to distinguish one firm, there are like millions of factors you could actually use in an application form, but for the purpose of this video, I will just mention a few of them so that you guys may find it useful and put it in your application form. So the first thing is about the practice area strength. When it comes to law firms, you can think of it as the X-Men. Basically, every law firm has their own strength or their superpower. There are one or two areas that law firm is particularly proud of, or at least they want the applicants to actually know about those areas. For example, Linklaters and Freshfields are more corporate focused. Allen and Overy and also Clifford Chance are more finance focused. Herbert Smith is a litigation specialist and is an expert in dispute resolution, arbitration, etc. And for example, BCLP is an expert in real estate practice. Particularly after the merger, BCLP has become the world's fourth largest real estate practice as well. Law firms like Weil Gashau and also Kirtland and Ellis are experts in private equity. And also Burks & Burks is a specialist in intellectual property. Firms like McFarlane and Farris are good at private clients law, and other firms like Weathers Worldwide and also Taylor Watson are also experts in private clients law. Main difference is that the later two law firms are mentioned, they have a more international presence compared to McFarlane's and Farris. HFW is considered as a specialist in shipping law. I even met trainees and lawyers in HFW who actually did a master's degree in shipping law before joining the firm. HFW and Client Code are also considered as outstanding aviation law firms as well, working on aviation finance or litigation. Stevenson Howell is also very famous for its aviation and also shipping practices. One different thing is that Stevenson Howell has a more like 50-50 split between transactional and also litigation work. David Spoke's London office actually does not do any litigation work. They focus exclusively on transactional work. The second thing you can use to distinguish between law firms is international strategies. Yes, I know, in my first commercial awareness video, I talk about how you can distinguish law firm between models like Swiss Variety model and also Best Friends Network. There are more than that. One other thing I want to talk about is international merger. For example, Dentons. There is a saying that whenever there's a merger, the odds are it is Dentons. Well, it's not surprising because when you look at the statistics, in 2018 there are over 100 mergers completed by Dentons. And in 2018, Dentons complete more cross-the-border mergers than all the US law firms combined together. 2015, it merged with one of the largest Chinese law firms. More recently, Dentons has merged with two US-based law firms and added 300 more lawyers to the law firm as well. Also, another example is BCLP. As you may notice, the Silver Circle firm BLP merged with the US law firm Bryan Cave, and they formed the new law firm Bryan Cave Leighton Paisner, which is also called BCLP. BCLP does not adopt a Swiss Variety model. When we look at BCLP, it's actually a fully financially integrated law firm. That means there's a high motivation for the offices to actually work closely with each other. And also it encourages the lawyers in different locations and different offices to work and communicate with each other so that the firms is more like a cohesive unit rather than separate offices across the world. It's also interesting to note that for any kind of merger between a US firm and UK law firms, there's always a problem with remuneration as well, because US firms traditionally may adopt a more eat what you kill or a more merit-based approach, and for UK law firms, especially Silver Circle or Magic Circle firms, they traditionally adopt a more lockstep approach. So after the merger, BCLP actually has a more mixed merit-based approach rather than a complete lockstep or complete eat what you kill approach. Another interesting strategy apart from Swiss Variety model, merger and also best friends network is the IPO. Recently, I talked about how the alternative business structure allows lawyers to own and also manage a law firm. That means law firms can technically carry out an IPO to raise capital. This year, not this year, now it's 2020. 2019, DWF actually went public and raised a lot of capitals through IPO. And usually IPO is not the best strategy or not a common strategy for mega firms like Magic Circle firms, because one of the key advantages of IPO is to raise publicity and to make your firm well known. But for those kind of firms, they usually already have a high reputation. IPO may be better for firms that are more like in the middle in terms of size, so that they may want an IPO to also increase the publicity and also to raise more capitals apart from their original partners. So far, there are actually 6 law firms who actually went public, although it's still interesting to see how many more law firms will actually choose this route in order to raise more money. The third thing you can use to distinguish a law firm is the deals and transaction that the firm is working on. So for example, some people may want to mention a deal that is specific to the firm's practice area strength. As I mentioned before, you may choose a deal that actually interests you because of a specific area of law is involved and you're really passionate about that area. But the other way is also very interesting, because in the past videos I talked a lot about international strategy. You could actually mention a deal that demonstrates that particular strategy. This is like a more advanced level of understanding a firm as a business. I will use McFarlane's as an example. I told you that McFarlane is a firm that adopts a more like best friends network. They cooperate with the best law firms in other jurisdictions in order to provide the best legal advice to their clients. McFarlane's secured a leading role in one of the biggest deals in 2016. McFarlane advised Visa Incorporation of its acquisition of Visa Europe. Particularly, McFarlane's in that transaction worked with one of the best US-based law firms called Watchtower. I think I also mentioned it in one of my previous videos as well. Watchtower is like a very prestigious US-based law firm. It does not really have many international offices. In that particular deal, McFarlane's worked with the best law firm in US to help their client handle the whole transaction. Actually demonstrates how the best friends network works. If you could possibly find something like this and mention it, because there are lots of deals happening all the time. Try to look at the firms they are working with. Try to look for the kind of jurisdictions that is involved in the transaction. You could actually use your knowledge to show that you really understand the firm by mentioning a specific transaction that is relevant to the firm's strategy. And the other factors you can use to distinguish law firm is the level of training. When it comes to like open days or career events, I always encourage people to ask more meaningful questions. And one of the questions that I really love asking is, are there any specific training programs or different training structures your firm offers that other law firms do not offer? First one is about the seat rotation. Normally speaking, most law firms in London have 4-seat option. This is kind of common and most of you guys might know, but there are actually a lot of variants. Freshfield is probably one of the few or even the only law firms that offers 8-seat training contract. That means you can actually work for 8 different seats during your entire 2-year training contract. Firms like DWF, Squire Patton Boggs, and also Watson Varley has 6-seat rotation rather than 4-seat as well. And Cleary also provides a very unique training through its non-departmental structure. That means, unlike other law firms, it has no compulsory seats for its trainees. Jones Day also has a similar approach. It has a non-rotational system for its trainees as well, so that they could be exposed to many more different areas of law. Some people may like a more flexible training system. Some people may like a more rigid training system. So it's one of the factors you could definitely consider when applying to this kind of firms. The second point of a level of training is about international secondments. There are actually a few firms that offer you guaranteed international secondment. For example, White & Case, Watson Varley, and also HFW. At the same time, firms like Baker McKenzie, they even offers like international clerkship. So before you start your training contract, you actually have a chance to work for 3 months as a clerk overseas in another office. I mean, I didn't get paid for like advertising my firm. I'm just advertising it, out of my genuine believe that is a good thing. And one last thing I would like to mention about is about pro bono work. For example, firms like Waukesha actually take into account pro bono hours as billable hours, so that lawyers will be remunerated for the kind of pro bono work they're doing. That definitely encourage more people to do pro bono work. When it comes to pro bono work, I also need to mention DLA Piper, because DLA Piper has a very unique pro bono seat option for its trainees as well, because not too many law firms offer this kind of opportunities. More recently, firms like Archer's also introduced a similar system and introduced pro bono seat for its trainees. Particularly for pro bono work, if you volunteer for any kinds of charities that is potentially one of the clients of the law firms you're applying to, you should definitely mention those kind of experiences and show your passion for pro bono work. And when you apply to those law firms, definitely that would be a bonus if you have personal experiences with the kind of organization the firm has been working with. So basically those are the 5 or 6 areas, several factors you could consider in order to distinguish different law firms. I think it would be useful for you to actually look into those points I just mentioned before and tailor it to your application form, and also tailor it to your own personal circumstances and your ambition. I have 2 more ideas for my next video. Either I will talk about the 5 tips to ace law school in terms of how to get maybe a higher grade or GPA, although like grade is not strictly necessary for training contract application, but everyone wants to get a better grades, right? But I know that there's so many law students out there who don't know the right strategy or techniques to study or to do well in exams, so I think that video would be helpful. And another video I'm thinking of is also about legal technology, how different law firms adopt different strategies to legal technology. Leave a comment and let me know which ideas you like more. I actually have an examination next 2 weeks. The 10th of January, I have a GDL examination. It's ridiculous because like I did my law degree back in Hong Kong and I did my master's degree in the UK. So I still need to do one conversion exam, which is EU law. So it's kind of pointless, I mean, in light of Brexit. But anyway, like I still need to do that examination. So I kind of need to study a little bit of that examination. I mean, let me know if you guys actually want to watch a video about like a day in the life of a GDL student or something. I really hope to like have a community on YouTube, and if you really love this video, press the like button and leave a comment below. Leaving a comment is really important because although there are people watching my video, but I never know whether you enjoy watching the video by just looking at the views. And also in order to encourage you guys to like really let me know your thoughts, let's do this. Like for the first 5 people who actually leave a comment on this video, I would like try to maybe read your application form and give you 1-page feedback about your application. I'm not an expert in like training contract application, but sometimes it's good for you to actually know about what other people think about your application. It's up to you, I mean, whether you want to do that, or maybe if no one's gonna comment on my video as well, that's also possible. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.